I should have specified in my last video that the female love of my life was called Chris. There were other female lovers. None I loved quite as much as her, but there again, none of them were as abusive as her. I was never consciously a masochist or anything. I was never a masochist. I don't like pain. But that is the way it goes, isn't it? If you've been abused, that's what you associate with love and all that. Anyway, that aside, we're thinking a little bit about so-called atheism. My father always called himself an atheist, or occasionally a pagan, or a heathen. I remember he put I think he put pagan down when he went into hospital for heart surgery, much to my mother's chagrin. So, one of the many things I've puzzled about over the years, of course it's not really a puzzle, was that in October 1981, when my then only daughter was 6, my parents arrived on my doorstep. And my mother was terribly upset. She was convinced that my daughter would be excluded from the nativity play because of my atheism. I can't quite remember what I said. You know, the obvious reply would have been, well, at least I'm not a bloody Satanist like the man you're living with. Oh, by that time married to, even. But I had always understood him to be an atheist until I understood it was more than that. I was reared an atheist. What my mother had to say about Christianity could be written on the back of a postage stamp with room to spare. Except that she was one. That was it. Oh, and I believe. Well, I believe. Raised an atheist. Withdrawn from assembly at 13. Withdrawn from religious knowledge, they used to call it then, all at the same age, because religious knowledge then was entirely Christian. Here I was, 27, with a 6-year-old daughter, and my mother so very upset that my daughter would be excluded from the nativity play because of my atheism. Well, of course, that was the month before they had my daughter taken from me on the grounds of moral danger. I suppose I should have been alerted on that day. But I do wonder. I've said in some video or another that I did upload that I think my mother was crazy. And I just think, in 1981, let me see, she'd been with my father 36 years, was it? And she'd failed to notice that he hated Christmas. Hated Christmas like poison. And at that time would not set foot in a Christian place of worship if somebody paid him. It still amazes me that everything my father was guilty of was projected onto me somehow. Which is not to say I did believe in Christianity. I didn't. But I wasn't as hostile to it as he was. Nowhere near. And my daughter had already been in at least one nativity play. I saw her in 2 or 3 at least. In fact, I loved it. It used to make me cry the way that mothers are supposed to cry at weddings. I cried every time I saw her on the stage in a nativity play. just wonder how it is that people can be made to believe things that fly in the face of all logic. But there again, there was a time when I had other theories as to why my mother might have been upset on that day in October 1981.